You've probably heard it said 1,000 times. You create your own reality. But if that's true, then why does it still feel so difficult? Why do you visualize, affirm, script, and hope, yet nothing seems to move? It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because reality isn't asking you to do more. It's asking you to be less entangled. See, manifestation isn't a task. It's a remembering. It's not about convincing the universe to give you what you want. It's about realizing the universe has never stopped listening. We've been taught to believe manifestation is complex, that we must raise our vibration, follow steps, repeat affirmations until our throats ache. But the truth is stunningly simple, almost too simple for the logical mind to accept. Every second you are manifesting, not through effort, but through observation. Your thoughts, emotions, and expectations act like lenses, bending the quantum field into form, without delay. You are not waiting for your reality to shift. You are continuously choosing which version of it you perceive. Imagine you are standing in a room full of mirrors. Each mirror reflects a slightly different version of you. The joyful one, the abundant one, the lonely one, the hopeful one. And whichever reflection you look at the longest, that is the one that comes alive. That's how creation works. You don't build your reality. You collapse it through focus, emotion, and expectation. But here's the catch. Most people stare at the mirrors of lack, doubt, and frustration. They don't realize they're giving their energy to the reflection they least desire. Then they call it reality. In truth, manifestation is not about adding energy. It's about stopping the resistance. It's the art of non-interference. When you stop trying to control, you stop observing limitation, and the universe, unobserved, flows back into infinite potent. So maybe the reason things haven't shifted for you is not because you're missing a technique, but because you're missing the silence between techniques. That sacred pause where the field responds to your natural state, not your desperate effort. Think of a pond. If you throw stones into it every few seconds, the surface stays rippled, chaotic, unable to reflect the sky. But when you let it settle, suddenly, the entire cosmos mirrors back to you, perfectly clear. That's what happens when you stop trying to make manifestation work. You become still enough to see that it already is. So the hidden simplicity behind miracles is this. The less you try to manifest, the faster reality aligns. Not because effort is wrong, but because effort is rooted in separation. It assumes you and the universe are two different things. But you're not. You're the same consciousness, folded into the dance of light and possibility. This is why the ancient mystics whispered, "When you stop seeking, you find." You're not here to learn how to manifest. You're here to remember that you never stopped doing it. Every thought, every sigh, every heartbeat has always been a command to the quantum field. And when you truly grasp that, when this truth settles into your nervous system, you stop chasing signs. Because you become the sign. So let's go deeper. Let's peel back the illusion of effort and uncover the undeniable proof that reality isn't responding sometime later. It's responding now. Because in the next moment, you'll see that quantum manifestation isn't mystical nonsense. It's scientific precision, disguised as magic. And once you see the proof, you'll never doubt your power again. They say belief creates reality. But what if that isn't just a comforting idea? What if it's a measurable fact? Let's step beyond philosophy, into physics. In the quantum world, everything exists in a state of superposition, pure potential. A particle is not here or there until something observes it. Until consciousness looks, it simply is. An infinite cloud of maybes. Then, the moment it's observed, the wave collapses. The particle chooses. Reality quite literally responds to awareness. You are that awareness. The observer that collapses infinite potential into the moment you're living right now. This isn't spiritual poetry. It's the observer effect, proven through the double-slit experiment. Physicists discovered that when no one watched, light behaved like a wave, free, fluid, everywhere. But the instant someone looked, the wave froze into a single point, a particle, as if reality itself paused to perform for the observer. In other words, the universe waits for you to look before it decides what to be. Let that sink in. When you expect rejection, you collapse a reality that includes it. When you expect ease, you collapse a timeline that matches that vibration. Every second, your beliefs are sculpting the quantum field into form, instantly, not eventually. And neuroscience agrees. Your brain doesn't see reality as it is, it builds it. Your sensory system filters data based on what you already expect to see. You've got a tiny cluster of neurons called the reticular activating system. Its only job is to filter your perception, so that what you notice aligns with your dominant focus. You tell it, money is hard, and suddenly all you see are obstacles. You tell it, abundance flows, and your awareness begins to locate opportunities that were always there, just hidden in the noise. That's not magic. That's quantum-level selection through attention. You've been told manifestation takes time. But that's not quite true. Time is just how your brain experiences the unfolding of choices. In the quantum field, everything happens now. Every timeline already exists, and your attention simply moves between them. When you shift your emotional state, you shift your frequency. And the version of you that matches that frequency becomes the one you perceive as reality. So when you start aligning your state with joy, trust, and coherence, you're not attracting something new. You're tuning into what was always there. Imagine tuning an old radio. The station isn't created when you turn the dial. It was always broadcasting. You just couldn't hear it until you matched its frequency. That's manifestation. Your reality isn't built. It's tuned in. But here's where most people get confused. They think, if reality responds instantly, why don't I see results right away? The answer lies not in the universe's timing, but in your consistency of observation. You might hold a thought of abundance for 5 seconds, but then spend the rest of your day in doubt, frustration, and fear. You're collapsing 2 different timelines, one of expansion and one of lack, over and over again. The universe isn't delaying your manifestation. It's simply reflecting your mixed signals in real time. This is why emotional coherence is everything. When your heart and mind vibrate in the same direction, the quantum field doesn't hesitate. It obeys. HeartMath Institute research has shown that the electromagnetic field of the heart is thousands of times stronger than that of the brain. When you feel gratitude, love, or awe, you literally emit a signal of harmony that instructs the field. This is my reality now, and the field responds instantly. The synchronicities start small. You think of someone, and they message you. You imagine a feather, and one lands at your feet. You feel peace, and chaos melts from your path. At first, you'll call it coincidence. Then, as it happens again and again, you'll realize it's not luck. It's feedback. the quantum field echoing your internal vibration. Everything you experience is the universe saying, yes, this is who you are being. It's breathtakingly simple and profoundly empowering. Because it means you've never been powerless. You've never been waiting on divine timing. You've simply been tuning your consciousness to certain versions of reality, without realizing you had the dial in your hand the entire time. So when we say, quantum manifestation is easier than you realize, it's because you're already doing it. Right now, in this moment, as you listen. Every emotion, every breath, every expectation is shaping probabilities into form. The question isn't if the universe is responding. The question is, what are you commanding it to mirror right now? And if it's this easy, why do so many people still struggle? Why do their desires feel far away, as though the universe can't hear them clearly? That's where we're headed next. Because while the field responds instantly, it can only mirror one thing perfectly, your dominant state of being. And when that state is cluttered with doubt, fear, and control, even the clearest intention collapses into static. Let's go there next, to the hidden block that distorts your frequency, and how to dissolve it effortlessly. You've felt it, haven't you? That subtle tension between wanting something so deeply, and somehow pushing it further away the more you try. It's like reaching for a reflection in water. The harder you grasp, the more it ripples and disappears. That's the paradox of manifestation. The moment you begin trying to make it happen, you send out a vibration of lack. The quiet signal that says, I don't have it yet. And the quantum field, obedient, perfect, neutral, echoes that exact message back. Trying too hard isn't ambition. It's resistance wearing the mask of effort. You see, every intention has two sides, the desire itself and the fear of not having it. When you're entangled in that fear, you split your energy, and the wave collapses into chaos. That's why so many people chase affirmations like lifelines. They say the words, but beneath the surface, their nervous system is vibrating with disbelief. They don't feel abundant, so their subconscious continues to project the frequency of separation. Neuroscience explains this perfectly. When your brain perceives a goal that feels unsafe, uncertain, or unreachable, your limbic system triggers stress signals. Cortisol rises. Your focus narrows. You start looking for proof that things aren't working. That survival mechanism, meant to protect you, becomes the very block that holds your desired timeline at arm's length. This is what it means to collapse the wave prematurely. You observe failure before success has a chance to form. And every time you check, has it happened yet? You are collapsing the timeline of not yet. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it's growing. The soil is doing its work, but your impatience keeps disturbing the process. You might think, but I'm visualizing, I'm feeling it. Yes, but are you trusting it? Trust is the bridge between thought and form. It is the invisible frequency that holds the wave open long enough for reality to crystallize around it. When you let go of control, you stop vibrating at the frequency of fear. You become still, and in that stillness, the field can finally rearrange itself to match your vision. Here's something to remember. The universe is not responding to your words. It's responding to your state of being. If you say, I am abundant, but your body still feels tense, your heart is still guarded, and your breath still carries the vibration of scarcity, the field will always respond to that. The truth is, manifestation was never meant to be forced. You are not here to wrestle with energy. You are here to harmonize with it. Think of yourself as a musician in a grand cosmic orchestra. The universe is the symphony. Vast, infinite, alive. Every thought you think, every emotion you emit, is a note that either creates harmony or dissonance. When you try too hard, you're playing over the music. Loud, offbeat, desperate to be heard. But when you relax into trust, you begin to blend, and suddenly, the melody of your life rearranges itself into effortless beauty. Most people struggle because they've been taught to manifest with the mind, not with the state. They think of the quantum field like a vending machine. Press the right button, say the right mantra, and the universe must deliver. But that's not how energy works. The field doesn't understand effort. It understands resonance. And resonance happens when the heart and mind agree. When you stop forcing and start allowing, you create coherence. You move from, how do I make this happen, to, how do I become the version of me for whom this is natural? That's the shift. That's where manifestation becomes effortless. It's never about controlling reality. It's about ceasing to resist it. Because reality is not a wall you must climb. Oh, it's a mirror that bends the moment you soften your gaze. So take a breath. Let go of the need to prove. Let go of the chase. You are not here to force your desires into existence. You are here to remember that they already exist, in the quantum field, vibrating patiently, waiting for you to relax into alignment. That's what it means to collapse the wave the right way. Not through pressure, but through presence. And once you step into that effortless presence, something beautiful begins to unfold. Manifestation stops feeling like work and starts feeling like flow. Which brings us to the next revelation. If effort collapses the wave, what truly activates it? How do you become the frequency itself so that reality no longer needs to be pursued, but simply reflects who you already are? That's where we're going next. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the stillness behind your thoughts. That quiet hum that's always there, even when your mind is loud. That stillness is the frequency of creation itself. You've spent years trying to become powerful, but power has never been something you earn. It's something you remember, because beneath every layer of identity and effort, you are already the energy that makes universes breathe. This is the heart of quantum manifestation. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. When your vibration and your desire are one and the same, manifestation becomes instant. No ritual, no strain, just resonance. Imagine two tuning forks in a room. Strike one, and the other begins to sing, not because it was forced, but because it shares the same frequency. That's what happens between you and your reality. When you vibrate in coherence with what you want, the universe can't help but respond. So how do you become that frequency? It begins with emotional alignment, not forced positivity, but genuine inner harmony. The universe doesn't respond to words like, I am abundant. It responds to the subtle current of how you feel when you say it. If there's doubt beneath the surface, the signal becomes distorted. But when your body and your belief begin to synchronize, when your heart finally agrees with your words, your energy field stabilizes, and your reality reorganizes itself around that new vibration. That's coherence, and coherence is creation. Science calls it heart-brain synchronization, the measurable state where your emotions and thoughts move as one. When you reach this state, you're no longer chasing reality. You're broadcasting it. Your brain becomes a transmitter, your heart a resonant amplifier, and the quantum field mirrors that harmony instantly. You can feel it when it happens. Your body relaxes, your breath slows. the measurable state where your emotions and thoughts move as one. When you reach this state, you're no longer chasing reality. You're broadcasting it. Your brain becomes a transmitter, your heart a resonant amplifier, and the quantum field mirrors that harmony instantly. You can feel it when it happens. Your body relaxes, your breath slows, your mind stops searching for signs. That's when reality starts bending. Not because you've convinced it to, but because you've become undeniably congruent with the version of you who already has what you desire. Here's the secret most people miss. You can't hold a high vibration by fighting your current one. You must love your way into alignment, not struggle your way there. If you feel fear, love it. If you feel doubt, breathe through it. Your emotions aren't enemies to be fixed. They are frequencies asking to be integrated. When you embrace them, they dissolve into harmony, and your energy becomes whole again. This is where manifestation stops being a mental game and becomes a state of consciousness. Picture a river flowing effortlessly downstream. It doesn't push. It doesn't negotiate with the rocks in its path. It simply flows. Around. Over. Through. That's the energy of true manifestation. Not control. Not willpower. Just movement in perfect trust. When you drop into this effortless current, you begin to feel reality rearrange around you. People shift. Opportunities appear. Synchronicities cluster like constellations. Not because you demanded it, but because you finally stopped vibrating against yourself. You can practice this in the simplest ways. When you wake up, instead of saying, "I need to manifest something today," say, "I'm already aligned with what I desire." Let your breath anchor that truth. Feel your body as if it's already home in that reality. Because energetically, it is. Quantum physics tells us that every possibility already exists in superposition. All versions of you, all outcomes, floating in potential, waiting for your consciousness to select one. When you feel as if it's already done, you're not pretending. You're collapsing that timeline into visibility. Effort isn't in creating. It's in remembering. You were born coherent. Every child moves effortlessly between imagination and reality because they don't question the bridge between them. It's only through conditioning that we learn to doubt, to demand evidence before belief. But in the quantum field, belief is the evidence. The truth is, manifestation is a return to innocence, to the pure frequency of course it's possible. It's not mystical. It's natural. And once you live in that state, that effortless surrendered awareness, life begins to unfold with poetic precision. You think of someone, and they appear. You release a fear, and the solution walks into your day. You let go of control, and everything starts aligning by itself. That's the frequency of flow. That's the effortless state. And when you taste it, even for a few seconds, you realize the truth that was always hiding in plain sight. The universe was never withholding anything from you. It was simply waiting for you to stop fighting the current. You've always been the frequency. You've always been the field. So now the question shifts. How do you live like this? Not just during meditation, but in the rhythm of daily life. How do you stay in coherence when the world pulls you back into noise, fear, and distraction? That's what we'll uncover next. How to live in superposition. How to walk through this world as someone who knows they're shaping it with every breath. You stand between infinite realities. each one waiting for your attention to bring it alive. At every breath, you are both particle and wave, form and potential, human and divine. This is the mystery of superposition, the truth that all realities exist at once, until your observation gives one of them shape. Most people live as if they are locked into a single timeline, believing that reality is fixed and linear. But the awakened soul realizes, life is a field, not a path. You're not walking toward your destiny, you're vibrating into it. Every thought you hold, every emotion you sustain, every act of surrender or resistance shifts which version of reality you collapse into now. It's not a metaphor. It's quantum mechanics translated into consciousness. You are the observer and the observed, the sculptor and the stone. When you live in this awareness, you stop chasing outcomes. You stop begging the universe to notice you, because you finally see that the universe is looking through your eyes. That's the art of surrendered awareness. The ability to act without attachment, to move without resistance, to live in intention, yet remain free from control. It's like being the calm eye of a storm. Life can swirl around you, but your center remains still. And from that stillness, you witness miracles unfold with almost eerie precision. Because surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means giving over. Offering your energy to the intelligence that knows more than your mind ever could. It's the shift from, I must make it happen, to I am guided, always. The ego seeks certainty. The soul seeks expansion. And expansion only happens in the unknown. When you stop needing to predict every outcome, you open the door to realities far greater than what you could have planned. In that openness, synchronicity becomes your new logic. You begin to see repeating numbers, chance encounters, messages hidden in music, perfect timing disguised as coincidence. That's the field communicating with you. Mirrors of your vibration showing up in physical form. Every time you trust that flow, you strengthen the bridge between thought and manifestation. To live in superposition is to walk the line between action and allowance. You set your intention clearly, then release it completely. You speak your desire once, then live as though it's already true. Because energetically, it is. Your job is no longer to force reality, but to maintain the state that invites it in. And that state is peace. From peace comes clarity. From clarity comes precision. And from precision comes effortless manifestation. When you live like this, life starts to respond in real time. You'll think of a solution, and it arrives. You'll feel drawn to take a walk, and meet the person who changes everything. You'll lose something, only to realize it was never meant for this version of you. Reality becomes responsive, almost playful. It begins to mirror your inner dance moment by moment. And the deeper truth, it always has. You just weren't still enough to notice. Superposition means you can hold both faith and uncertainty, both desire and surrender, without contradiction. Because at the highest level of consciousness, those dualities dissolve into one. The awareness that everything is already happening through you. So breathe. Let go of control gently. Trust the unseen choreography of your life. You're not falling. You're unfolding. There's a moment, often subtle, when you'll feel the universe breathe back. It's not dramatic. It's quiet, like a deep knowing that everything is right. That's when you're truly in the field. That's when you've entered the effortless zone of quantum creation. No tension, no waiting, just being, fully, presently, consciously. And that's remanifestation becomes effortless, not because you don't care, but because you've realized you were never separate from what you seek. The miracle isn't what appears, it's the one who awakens to see that it was always there. To live in superposition is to live as the awareness itself, the silent space in which every possibility unfolds. From there, you can choose any reality with grace. You don't need to control it. You simply align with it through your vibration. When you walk in surrendered awareness, every step becomes sacred. Every breath becomes a command to the universe, and every heartbeat echoes with the truth. I am already home in all realities. So the next time you feel uncertain, don't reach for control. Reach for stillness. Because stillness is the language the quantum field understands best. That is living in superposition. The art of surrender not as weakness, but as the ultimate act of creation. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when all the logic, science, and spiritual theory fall away, and something real happens. A shift, a collapse, a click in the field. It's that instant when your inner knowing finally overrides your doubt. You stop hoping, you stop testing, you simply know. And in that knowing, reality rearranges itself around you. You might notice it subtly at first. A message arrives at the exact time you need it. An opportunity that was once impossible suddenly opens. A person appears, as if pulled from your imagination. That's the quantum collapse. The point where energy becomes matter, where thought becomes form, where potential becomes proof. And here's what's truly wild. It doesn't happen because you finally earned it. It happens because you stopped resisting it. Doubt collapses faster than anything else in the universe. Because doubt is simply belief inverted. Its energy still vibrating with power, but misdirected through fear. The moment you release that fear, the energy flips polarity. And the same power that once created resistance now fuels manifestation. Think of it like tuning a radio. For so long you've been turning the dial, searching for a signal, thinking it wasn't working. But the static wasn't the station's fault. It was the noise of your own disbelief. The instant you align perfectly, the music plays, and you realize it was broadcasting the entire time. That's what happens when you witness instant shifts. They're not new miracles, they're ancient frequencies you finally tuned into. Your energy collapses the wave, and your life rearranges itself at quantum speed. Because in truth, there is no delay. Delay is just doubt measured in time. When doubt dissolves, manifestation becomes immediate. So the real secret is not to chase results, but to master trust. Trust is not naive. It's the highest form of quantum intelligence. It's the mind's surrender to the rhythm of creation. Once you embody that trust, everything starts responding to your consciousness directly. The external world becomes a mirror reflecting your new internal coherence. Your frequency stabilizes, and reality syncs up with breathtaking precision. You'll notice that what once took years now happens in days, sometimes hours. You think it, and there it is. You release something, and the void fills instantly. Because the field is always saying yes. It just needed your certainty to give it direction. When you collapse doubt, you become the signal. You stop asking for proof, because you are the proof. You walk through life with that quiet, radiant knowing. Everything is already responding to me. That energy, calm, assured, unshakable, is what makes the universe move mountains on your behalf. And when that happens, you'll look back and realize the greatest manifestation was never the thing you received. It was the version of you that finally remembered its own power. That is the collapse of doubt. The moment you stop seeking signs and start becoming one. Take a breath. Feel it move through you. Not just as air, but as information, as energy. That's not just oxygen entering your lungs. That's the field breathing through its favorite expression, you. You've been taught to see yourself as a fragment of the universe, a small being trying to manifest inside a vast cosmic system. But here's the highest truth. You are not in the field. You are the field. Every photon, every vibration, every particle of possibility moves in harmony with your consciousness. Your awareness is the organizing force behind the pattern of your life. The trees, the stars, the quantum vacuum, all are made of the same awareness observing itself from infinite angles. And you are one of those angles, a sacred perspective through which the cosmos remembers its own beauty. This is why manifestation is easier than you realize, because the universe doesn't need convincing. It only needs coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy align, you stop speaking to reality and start speaking as reality. Your affirmations become commands. Your silence becomes creation. Your presence becomes power. You are not sending out vibrations. You are the vibration through which life expresses itself. This is what every mystic and scientist has been pointing to in their own language. Einstein called it the unified field. Mystics called it oneness. Quantum physicists call it entanglement. But beneath all the words lies the same truth. There is no out there. Everything you perceive is arising within your consciousness. And so, when you shift within, the entire field shifts with you. Reality is not something happening to you. It's something happening as you. When you finally see this, you no longer try to manifest from lack. You create from fullness. You stop asking the universe when, and start declaring now. Because now is all that ever exists. Every timeline, every version of you, every dream, they all live here, in this eternal quantum moment. So let this be your final remembering. You are not learning to manifest. You are remembering how to be conscious of the manifestation you already are. Let that awareness settle in your heart. Let it dissolve every trace of resistance. You don't need to force reality anymore. You are reality, discovering itself again and again through the miracle of your own being. If these words resonated with you, pause for a moment and notice what shifted inside. Because that subtle feeling, that expansion, is the field responding right now. Comment below. I am one with the quantum field. Let's amplify that resonance together, as creators, not seekers. Because when one of us remembers, the entire universe awakens a little more.